Adam ya tsinci kansa ne cikin wata irin rayuwa mara tsari. Ka sha wahala ka nemo da gominka wanda ya fi ka da matsu ya tare ka ya amshe. In ka yi gardama ka ci duka. Ka sharɓi kuka irin na cikin zuciya komai zub da ruwa sharaf babu inda za ka kai kukan ka a share. Tafiya ta tafiya al'umma suka fara kagauta da samarwa kawunan su hukuma. Don sadaukar da haukunan su ta kare. To kuwa ashe tunda dai ita kanta gwamnatin da sahalewar mabiya aka samar ya zama wajibi a samu hanyoyin sako su cikin sha'aninta su san me ke faruwa don nuna gamsuwa ko kuwa jan hankali da kalubalantar bangaren da ya karkace don mahukunta su ƙara saita sahunsu. Zauren 'yan majalisu da 'yan siyasa na gidan rediyon Human Rights wani tanadi ne ga 'yan ƙasa mai matsayin wata ƙofar shiga cikin sha'anin jagoranci dumu-dumu. A dama a kurɓe tare da jama'a ba tare da barin su can gefe ba. Shirin zauren 'yan majalisu da 'yan siyasa na zuwa gare ku ne tun daga Litinin har zuwa Alhamis da misalin karfe 11 na kowace safiya daga gidan rediyon Human Rights mita 101.1.
17. It's 60 minutes into the 9 o'clock hour. A beautiful morning here. And my name is Ruth. I'm excited. I have a full house on X-Ray today. So much so that I don't know exactly where to start. So maybe we should do it this way. Let's have you introduce yourselves individually in the studio today. Who do we start with?
My name is Oikeke Igado-Kure, as always.
Yes, a regular. And sitting very next to you.
My name is Idris Bawa.
He's always missing in action.
My name is Daniel Ihile.
Aha, ICT consultant.
Excellent.
Okay.
Okay, my name is Abdullahi Haruna, Haru Spice, the empire of the...
It's okay. Harry Spice. We're just fine when you call yourself Harry Spice. But it's so good to have you all on the program today. We want to begin with this story from the United Nations, as it has called on member states to keep children safe online by safeguarding their privacy and protecting them from abuse and exposure to unsuitable materials. United Nations International Children Education Fund, UNICEF, specifically called for children to be put at the center of digital policy to enhance their access to the internet. The executive director of UNICEF, Anthony Lake, in a statement expressed concern that the internet was designed for adults, but children and young people increasingly use it, adding that this affects their lives and futures. He said the digital world also opens children up to new threats, including cyberbullying and new forms of child abuse. He explained that killers can more easily make contact with children through secret and unprotected social media profiles and game forums. I'm sure all of us will agree with so many of the things being said here. Let's begin with Oikeke. I mean, looking at it from as a parent, what are these challenges which are already enumerated here? Some of the challenges.
This is the time that we find ourselves. The internet, even though we would say have brought some good to us, it has also brought some frightening things, especially when we talk about our children. The internet, first of all, I believe is used for or is meant for adults. But because of where we found ourselves now, our children are even more interested in the use of internet than us. And they're using it as much as they can. So, but here we are today. The children are exposed to issues like cyberbullying, just like you said. These people, these criminals, or these people who knows what they want to do, goes into those sites that are interesting to children, and especially through games and other things. And then they engage them in such a way that it's not suitable to them. A lot of times, cyberbullying is about they tend to bring up those things that will humiliate the children by the end of the day. So instead of being an imaginative game for the children, which should benefit them, they bring in that humiliating part of it, and then you see the child being disappointed and feeling sad sometimes after playing a particular game. And then predictors, like we said, killers can, engage these children through these unprotected sites, and then can even lead them to having physical contact with them. And a lot of them have died. We heard about the story of a young girl, a 10-year-old girl who she was bullied at school, and then it was now downloaded into the internet, and then the thing went viral, and then she committed suicide. So these are the things we're looking about. And then children too, because they're vulnerable because of their innocence. You don't know what they can do. So these people take advantage of their innocence, and then make them sometimes give them information that they're not supposed to give out. Sometimes information about their parents, about their, things that is not supposed to be in the public space. But because these children don't know the right things, sometimes, they're vulnerable. So let me just stop here since we have a full house.
Yes, let's listen to Harry Spice next.
Yes, we are at the mercy of technology, unfortunately, from the negative aspect of it. And again, in all of this, we have to blame the parents, by extension, the society. The internet was, created not for leisure, but for scientific research, for professional, researches. But today we have parents buying gadgets, very sophisticated gadgets for their kids in the name of, living up to expectation, showing love. My child, it's a whiz kid when it comes to, cyber or technological savvy. So you don't necessarily blame the technology itself, but we, the parents, should be, extremely blamed. With the intrusion of internet, our educational fortune, especially amongst our children, has actually reduced to a very low ebb. Children no longer study as it is expected. In those days, the only things you have as a leisure fallback is playing in the courtyard or on the street. But today, television came, subdued that. Now the internet has come. Now you don't even need to watch the TV. With the internet in your hand, you can travel around the world. Or even pardon the issues. Children are watching pornography more often than even the issue of cyberbullying or the threats to it. Every child now has access to the internet, and they can go as far as where you, an adult, dare not go. They are the savvy when it comes to internet usage, especially in the homes. And unfortunately, like I said, you can't blame the innovators of this technology, but we, the parents. If your child can afford a handset, then you should be ready to bear the consequences of whatever that child will bring home.
All right, that sounds like doom. But before we get to Dan, let's listen to Barrister Idris first. Perhaps you may see it a bit differently from what Harry Spice has said.
Not quite differently.
Okay.
But again, I think, like he said, we are having these are difficult times. The way we are brought up is quite different from the way we are raising our kids now. And thanks to internet, and yet we blame ourselves for whatever is happening. Given the fact that yes, internet are not actually meant for the kids. Let's be very frank about it. If you want to make your kids to be well up, we have some computer games and all of that you can use to engage with them. You want to buy a phone. I've seen a kid.
Computer games, well, some of them are also on the system, a computer.
No, they are. I have some computer games in but it's not something.
Some you need to be connected to the internet before you.
No, I don't do those.
Okay.
No, it's purely the local ones. So what I'm trying to say is, we as parents, we need to be up and doing. I'm not an expert when it comes to computers and all of that. But again, even the common films we watch these days, you see a lot of romance being played out and all of that. These days and time, when you an adult, you see such thing coming up, as an adult, you just move your face away a little bit. Your kids will be the one, daddy, look at what they are doing. So it's really sad. For us, I know, like TV, you have some modes you can use to control all of that. But the internet is not something that I think
sometimes
is
it even
possible.
pops up without you going to the site.
The reason being that the moment you go online and you have started working on those sites, definitely they pop up. So I think Daniel can speak more on all of this.
Okay.
But me, as far as I'm concerned, I think we as parents will have much more work to do.
All right. So let's listen to him and see perhaps what parents can do. How does it happen? Especially, I mean, like I just mentioned, sometimes you're just doing it something totally different and something so unsolicited for comes up. Why does that happen?
Yeah. Let me start this way. The full meaning of the internet, I'm sure you all know, is actually international network. And the network is actually made for computers and users to share information. The internet is actually like a moving train that cannot be stopped. There's no kind of information you don't find on the internet. Sad to say, trust me, if you want to kill yourself today and you're looking for a very easy way, you can actually find it on the internet. And you can't just restrict the use of the internet, because most parents actually have smartphones and they don't stop their kids from going on these mobile devices. My friend's child is about 3 years old. She knows how to open his WhatsApp, how to send his picture into groups and stuff. And when she sees responses, she gets very excited and she shows the phone to her dad. So, parents actually have to wake up and become tech savvy. How do I mean tech savvy? You find most parents saying, it's a big phone, I really don't know how to use it, I really don't know how to go about it, check it, but my kids do it better. It is actually high time parents woke up and get used to these devices. I mean, a parent can do something as little as going into our browser history to see what our kids are actually looking at and advise them. But because parents are not really trying to get up to date with these technologies, you just find their children it's like a rampage just going up and down on the internet. And like you rightly pointed out, the internet has actually become a lot more intelligent. While organizations actually try to impute restrictions, other group of individuals are actually trying to beat these restrictions. In the early 2000s, you could easily just go on your computer device and just block keywords, particular keywords. It could be porn, it could be sex, and if any of those keywords comes up, I mean, the browser automatically blocks that material. But these days, browsers have actually been designed to beat those restrictions because people believe the internet is supposed to be free and open. So all I'm just trying to say is high time parents actually woke up and look at various ways to actually track what their kids are doing, because it is almost impossible for you to prevent them from seeing any kind of materials you want to see.
And it's almost impossible for the tech world to actually override what, the other group of people are trying to do. I mean, to ensure that some of these keywords are blocked for good, especially using age restriction.
Sure, it's almost impossible.
It may be impossible, but in other climb, like I was in Dubai, and I think they have certain level of regulations and restriction when it comes to internet usage. Like you said, there are certain words that you cannot find on the net in Dubai, for instance. Type terrorism, type pornography, type sex. It's automatically blocked. I attended a cyber crime training during my last visit there, and we were actually exposed to this. They told us it was more like a bragging right, that if you think you can do this, try it. If you have the capacity to break into this restriction, try it. And we all tried it, and it didn't happen. So I think we shouldn't quickly give in to that a notion that we are helpless. Technology has taken over. Some good bad guys are in charge of the content, and therefore we are at the mercy of these guys. No, the brain is designed to to protect, to defend, and as well as to attack. So because life is a continuous process of the attacker and the defender, it will always look for a way out to escape all of this. When attempt was made to regulate internet usage in Nigeria or social media usage in Nigeria, we all woke up to say, no, this is a clampdown. If you look at it critically, you discover that I think we really need that restriction kind of in this part of the world, because we are abusing the content. This platform called internet, we're abusing it. Unfortunately, we are not creating content. We are consuming and digesting content. I'm assuming we are, people like you now are creating indigenous content. Definitely our kids will not have alternative to start watching, very offensive materials from the other world. In Osun State, one time, a tablet was designed for school children where they could learn, instead of the normal conventional book, they could learn with their tablets. If this kind of innovation will automatically shut down the use of internet by kids. Internet, just like we said, is for international engagement. So what has a kid of 2-3 years got to do with, international engagement or diplomacy or interaction, as the case may be? We are always on the fast lane, this part of the world. We like to tag along for content produced by others, not we adding to it. If you ask me what is Nigeria adding to the international content, definitely we do not have. But we are always at the receiving end because we open our doors, we open our minds, we always helpless in that situation.
Okay, well, let's listen to Barrister Idris.
No, I just want to...
perhaps any regulatory move that could help.
No, in terms of regulation, I think it's high time we started thinking about how to regulate the use of internet.
Is there any provision in the law that, should support something like that?
We have some regulations that like pornography and all of that. That's why if you look at NBC code, for instance, there are certain movies you can't see on our telly and all of that. Any, like even some songs that you see, some songs that talked about drugs, pornography and all of that, you can't see them you can't watch them in Nigeria. Okay. Yeah, so
on
we
NTA, you mean? Because on NTA, baby, but because our paid TV stations are actually hub of pornographic displays.
That is where it comes again. When we are talking about paid TV and all of that,
because then you have access to so many other stations.
Exactly, we don't have control over that. Like this morning, the ordinary president invited Standard Organization of Nigeria to the studio during Break the Family. These are some of the content things that they should be looking at, because it's about standard. Yeah. It's not about just what you buy, and even services. We should, be very effective. When Harris Spice talked about we creating our own content, I'll give you a simple example. Even this toy, baby toy, or this doll and all of that, you only see white ones. You can...
There's no black one.
There's no black one.
There's no black
and
dog.
if you go to the market and you ask your child to pick one, for instance, they always go for the white one. And because we don't have our own content, we don't create things around here, we just consume. We keep consuming. That's why we keep saying here that we need to go into a lot of research and see how we can build outside to make it a better one for all of us.
Okay, we will continue the conversation. We need to go on a commercial break. Stay with us.
Human Rights Radio.
Are you looking for a stimulating working environment? Redefining broadcasting.
Hi, my name is Bucci, and I'm your host of Heartbeat. And like a deck of cards, I am your Jack of Hearts. I'm also a co-host on the stadium. I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. From all of us here from Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, 'tis the season to share that cheer, that love, spread that kindness. So whatever you do, always open up your hearts. From me to you.
101.1 FM.
Jingle bells,
jingle bells, jingle all the way. Hello everyone, my name is Kemi Adeyemi. You all listen to me
Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM on Oshe OJ. Here is wishing you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Enjoy.
Merry Christmas!
Our life and the life of people with around us for danger.
From where you get all this important information?
From Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, the company will care well for the safety of its customers for Kogi, Nasarawa, and Niger State, plus including the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Abuja Electricity Distribution Company want to make you stay alive to enjoy them services. Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, power of commitment.
Human Rights Radio.
Join our diverse team of legal experts as we provide education and guidance to you, our listeners, on a broad array of issues raised by the modern legal landscape, absolutely free on Pro Bono Chambers, airing on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, redefining broadcasting.
Human Rights Radio.
Thank you for staying with us. X-Ray back right here on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. We've been having a great conversation in the studio this morning, trying to take a look at how to ensure that the access children, young people have to the internet is actually limited, considering the many negative things associated with overexposure of young ones to the internet. Before we went on the break, who was about to talk then? Now, I hope everyone still have their thoughts put together.
I think apart from trying to restrict the what the children watch or see or have access to, technically, we as parents do have a great role to play. Children are in their formative age, and a lot of times it is what you tell them that they know, and it is what you tell them that they do to a large extent. So I think we should begin to let our children know the risk associated with these things. We should begin to allow our children, educate them on what not to touch once they get to the internet. There are a lot of things there are a lot of packages that are lost them, like download free. Like my daughter will say, "Oh no, mommy, this one is free." They say, "I can download it free. Your data will not go." They hide these things in those kind of.
How old is that, your daughter?
My daughter is 5 years now.
Nice.
But of course, all her peers, she can do everything. So she'll tell me, no,
and
it's free.
another thing, I think parents too take it is like a bragging right to tell other people that, my kid can do this, she knows this, he can do this and that.
Yes, and a lot of times we don't have the time to critically begin to look at the content that our children. So the
internet came in as a savior for parents. Like, okay, take this and have fun and let me have my time.
Let's tell ourselves the truth. Parents were responsible for whatever will befall our kids, whether good or bad. What business has a 5-year-old girl or child got to do with a handset?
So that also brings to mind, I mean, it's a question now. At what age would you allow your child access to the internet? I mean, to having a phone, whether it is connected to internet or not, to owning a phone.
We're talking. This is a different talk entirely.
But it starts from there.
A child of 2-3 can actually own a phone.
It starts from there. Yeah, you could give them a phone.
Connecting that child to the internet.
You give the child that phone and he knows that it's not connected. He will tell you, "Mommy, my phone cannot do what the other person's phone is doing," and it becomes, "Change the phone for me. I need this type."
Once they pick the phone
because
or the iPad,
they see the advantages from the other
types. And there's no internet that drops it because they know there's nothing.
That means you are. That means you are actually in charge.
They are already exposed, knowing that there is the internet.
You see, I think we are making a mistake here. Who exposed these children to the phone? Parents. So we are blaming. It's about parenting, nothing else.
Parenting.
Your child does not have 10,000 or 15, 20,000 to go and buy a phone. It's what you buy, give them that they use.
And again, a child has no right touching my phone. This is not a textbook. This is not an instructional material. This is my own tool of communication as an adult. My daughter or my son has no right to touch my phone. If you dare it, I'll spank you. If you like, call the police. I'm not abusing you. I'm trying to correct you. And by the time, when you engage, when you
can achieve that.
I do that. When you engage these kids with this kind of distraction, you kill their intellect. The ability to start thinking, their ability to innovate will disappear. The internet, it's the phone, it's a machine that eases or that helps you to do a lot of difficult things. In those days, we were taught reading the 4-figure tables. You can actually memorize them, them yourself, but kids of these days don't do that. Spelling is aided now by handsets. Stories are read to them or use it through the handset. So where is the ability for them to begin to innovate, to think outside the box? The internet will limit you and restrict you to think that life is a perfect one. But when you leave these kids with their environment, with their books, they'll begin to think outside the box. A child should begin to write a poem about nature, about life from 5. Not
But they can still do that if they have access to the internet. The internet can take them to. It can take them to any part of the world.
I want to tell you something. Do you know these text messages people write these days? You see LOL. Even when he got to WAEC examination, some of them couldn't write the full word. They were abbreviating. So it's about time that we'll start thinking of how to deal with this situation. It's getting worse by the day. Spellings we used to do spelling bees at my time, and now I don't think majority of schools.
Well, if schools still do, they still do.
So I think we writing essay competition and all of that. Even during the Children's Day, you write a story. You do you create something like carving and all of that. Submit to local government area at the parade ground when they are marching. They call first, second, third, maybe schools and all of that. All of these things are just eroding by the day, and we are getting boxed into what we call internet, which is not even helping matters.
Daniel,
a lot of obesity is now. Look at children adding weight because
they spend a lot of time
sit down, eat, play with computers, no exercises, no footballing, no can't cycle anymore. So it's a problem.
Okay, so we're really focusing on the vices of the internet now. You said parents need to become tech savvy.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's difficult. I mean, it's sometimes as if it's like a generational thing. If it's not, it's like it's not really your time. So for them to easily get into the whole thing, they may feel they even are too busy to start learning some of these things. What are some really practical things that they can do? Whether it's a computer that they have at home and then the children have access to, or if they have actually bought some of these things as tabs or iPad for them to use, what can they do to ensure that they monitor what they do?
Yeah, like I said earlier, parents really need to wake up. There are actually very basic tools you can find on the internet that can actually track what a particular device is doing, what site the device is visiting, what contents are being downloaded into those devices, even after the contents have been deleted. And all of these are actually not rocket science. If it's an Android device, a parent can actually go into the Play Store, as easy as that, and just look for tracking softwares that will actually track the activities of the tablet.
Even if whatever was watched or downloaded has been deleted.
Even if the history was cleared, parents can actually see that. And then the parents can be proactive. And talking about what other people in the house have actually said, to be realistic, we're actually talking about the Stone Age in terms of technology today. We all must embrace technology. In as much as there are actually so much dangers associated with technology, we cannot overemphasize these dangers. Because kids actually study with tablets. Kids that really want to study, they tend to do better with electronic devices. In no time they are reading, in no time they are singing, in no time they are learning how to pronounce some certain words, because these softwares are actually designed and aided to train these children very fast. And they are with this device day and night. So talking about writing essays, talking about going out to play football, I mean, compared to now, it's actually like the Stone Age. Really?
I agree with you. We, whether Stone or Jet Age, we're talking of human inhibition. What has been the lots of the Stone Age kids and that of the Jet Age kid? What we're talking about is the value of humanity. The kids of the Stone Age, are they better off in moral, in value than the kids of the Jet Age? We're not talking about the existence of the, of the variables in terms of opportunities. We're talking of what would these kids come out of these opportunities at their disposal. Like we said, instructional materials are different from internet materials. Most instructional materials are pre-loaded into, the word you use. What you need to do is just to play the CD, you play the information, and these lessons are imparted to the kids. But what we're talking of is children strolling into internet domain, to begin to excavate information to their own use, which will be very harmful to them. Somebody talked about the 10-year-old girl, killing herself, committing suicide because she couldn't stand the rigor of bullying. Why should kids in secondary school or primary school have access to internet to the extent that they are using it to bully themselves? This is what we're talking about. There's usually time for everything. I am an advocate of technology. Everybody should be exposed to technology, but what we're saying, what is the content? The content for the American public, is it the same thing that should be applicable to us in Africa or Nigeria? In the US, kids don't have access to internet. They try as much as possible to limit them in schools. I was in the school environment and I saw what they were doing. You talked about restriction. They were actually restricted from visiting certain sites. It's boldly written. No, you don't have to go to this. Even our interaction with the kids, we were actually, kind of taught or programmed to, this is how you speak to these children. They are kids. They are not exposed to certain language. This is the innovators of these materials telling us how we should relate to their kids. But they just send these materials to us. What we need, a click, it will give you everything.
But at the same time, we still see so many things that happen to them with the exposure there as well.
Yes, I'm not of the school of thought that we should stop our children from using internet. There are some positive things that they can learn, and the world is moving, things are changing, and we cannot isolate ourselves. We need to also move with the world. But what I'm saying is, we need to, as parents, sit down and engage our children in such a way that the narrative can change, in such a way that they can have access, or they can tap into the benefits of the internet. We can let them know that, look, we can guide them.
There are dangers,
these are the dangers, and our children listen and they hear, and a lot of times that's why you hear them say, "Oh, mommy said I shouldn't do this. Daddy said I shouldn't do this." So if you begin to engage them from this time, from this formative time of theirs, I'm sure it will help a lot. And I want Harry Spice to tell us, how are you able to keep your children from your phone and then your tabs and all that? I would like to know.
I'm a product of natural law. What is not their own is not their own. I've had that running issue with my wife. She allows them the use of our phone, playing with our phone. I said, no, this phone is not your own. It's your own, not your kids. Please don't allow them. Now they are just children. They need to listen to. I said, no. Are we saying now that internet should replace our books? A child can be engaged for hours reading a book. Can that child learn from that book? The content we're talking about, I'm sure it's the same content.
Harry Spice, at the same time, the child can find that book on the internet somewhere.
Wait.
But then I think let's listen to the callers.
I want to just add to what
quickly,
my
please.
children they don't have access to my phone.
Okay.
Never.
Do they have access to any kind of internet?
No.
Okay.
No. They are too young.
Their phones
for that.
in fact, I'm the one that will credit their phones. So how will you get access to internet?
Okay, but
in order to deal with that,
they actually have phones.
They have phone. No, in order to deal with not putting money in their phone for them to have access.
How old are you?
I have,
we're talking children. However,
I
it's very important too. You know,
How old
the
are your
age,
kids?
the age will determine whether or not they are ready to have access to the internet.
The last two younger ones, 10 and 13, they don't have access to whatever
to the internet.
Yes, at all.
But that is
the
that,
one that is in the university.
That is really not a realistic measure. Because if they step out of the house, they go to school, they see their kids with these tablets, they will jump at it.
No,
I will get my kid
sometimes
a tablet.
it gets them curious.
When we are talking about all of this, my kids, they have their own laptops.
And the laptops are not connected to the internet?
No.
Okay, so
that's not realistic.
So until
what are you saying?
You know, we're talking of value from different perspectives.
It depends on how you want
the
to.
The value you're talking about. What value are we talking about? Value for every information on the net, or value for sifted information? Is that what we're talking about?
Okay, we need to go to the phone line at this point. Okay, so call us up on 081 89 991011. That's 081 89991011. It's all about how to protect. I strongly believe we're not all condemning, the internet. However, our focus is on protecting the children, especially as it concerns their access to a lot of information on the internet. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Yes. Welcome.
Hello.
What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Philip.
Okay, go ahead quickly, please.
Yeah, you see the topic of discussion actually to some extent is okay, but then I'm telling you a lot of things have gone wrong as a result of this internet exposure of these young ones. I remember during my time, many people that were not opportunity to go to the normal secondary school to raise their role for GCE, through correspondence, and most of them are big people in the society today. But you can see the so-called technology, the internet, or what have you that has come into view. What has it done to the people now? Most people cannot consult the people in sentence. When you see their writing, the spelling, everything is just rubbish. You understand? So, the way we are saying, to me, we should not, expose our children to these things at early age. It's okay, you can buy your child a phone so that you can always communicate with them, but not the one that has all the facilities that they can browse and see all other things that are not supposed to be for their good. So please, the parents should know how to discipline their children, guide them on what to Google and what not to Google.
Okay.
Women, so recent mothers, they encourage the children. Some of them even argue with the fathers, just like one of your what do you call it? One of your member there, I just said. Allow the parents, the dads, to discipline the children so that at least we have a very good society.
Okay.
But they are not like before. A lot of things too, they want to share on the internet has already corrupt their mind. And that's why we're having problems in the country today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. 081-8999-1011. Call us up and please try to keep it brief. Hello. Please turn off your radio.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Welcome. What's your name?
My name is Shawaka Mohammed.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Concerning the issue of the internet we are discussing about, there should be a limitation on it. At least they should have the freedom of having access to some information in the internet, but it shouldn't be on continuation time that they will take all their time on it. Well, so now we are talking about technology's advancement. At least they should know a little about it, but it should be based on their age limit. Because I concur with one of my brother there that said they should have access to the phone. Then they should have access to the phone, even though you don't allow them to have access to the phone at home. What if they see their peer groups in school? How can we cope about that?
Okay.
No school, sure.
So that's just little I want to contribute there.
All right. Thank you so very much.
I don't think there's any school
that will
allow phones in. There's no school that I know.
Okay.
That allows kids to use their phone. There are some universities in Nigeria here that don't allow people to use it.
All right. Let's hear more. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning. Please turn off your radio.
Please,
Sorry, thank you very much. Please, what I want to say is that for a child to have access to the internet, I think it's totally wrong.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, we're with you. Hello?
Not give you his time. When you are calling her to help you in some other things, that child will not give you his time. And sometimes it makes children to disobey their parents.
Okay.
It's through internet that children look at some other things and they went through autism.
Sorry about that.
Concerning that last caller, that's the reason why I said parents actually have to upgrade themselves in terms of how these devices work. So you actually know what the child is doing. You won't tell me because of the possibilities of you dying in a vehicle, you won't ride in the vehicle. No. No. You have to understand.
Mr.
You have to
Daniel.
understand the direction in which the world is moving today.
Yes.
There's a whole lot of advantages, as in on a child using the internet, and there's a lot of disadvantages. One of the approach you could take is even having the computer in a public place in the sitting room where everybody actually sees what the child is doing, and also looking at what the child, keeping a tab on what sites the child is actually looking at.
Okay, now
what kind of social media the child is looking at.
Here's what I think. Usually it's a human mindset. It's just how we're made. For such things that you have strict instructions not to do, not to go close to, they're actually those things that you can't wait to try out.
Like the forbidden fruits usually being the sweetest,
So if access is not entirely denied, but then being regulated, I think
as a parent, it's good to be liberal. It's good to be liberal. But your being liberal should not erode the fact that you are in charge. We are talking of using the internet for information sourcing. A child of 5 to 10, what kind of information is he
do they need?
Looking for that the parents, that the teachers cannot provide? That it will now take him to the internet, the general internet, where you have giggle, garbage in, garbage out. Every information on the internet is information.
Okay,
Nobody can say.
Let me say one experience.
Quick question though. In your opinion, how old should a child be before he can have such an access to the internet?
The child of 13 should be exposed to the use of internet. At that point, we're talking of maturity creeping in. He or she knows, the benefit of good and bad information.
Okay, let's pick this last call. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
Okay, my name is Kenny, and I'm calling from One Man Village.
Okay, please make it brief.
Okay, now one thing about the internet. If children are actually abusing the internet, it's because of the parents. I don't think a child should be exposed to the internet. It's really, really wrong. It makes the child strong. It makes them disobedient. It causes a lot of social anxiety in the country and in the society. And so it's something that should be checked. For me, until you get to about 15, you shouldn't be allowed to go to the internet. I didn't even have a phone until I was about 17.
Okay.
And that's because my parents thought that, it wasn't really necessary. I was in university before I got a phone. I had the opportunity to have a phone. People promised me the phone, but I kept telling them, if my parents don't buy it for me, I'm not going to use it. I only collect it. So it's not about upbringing. Parents should wake up. The society is getting spoiled. Our parents are relaxed. And it's not good.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your contribution.
Ruth,
let's have our
Facebook,
final words.
if you want to subscribe to Facebook, they tell you if you are not 18, you cannot subscribe. For me, that is the age for which somebody can start using the internet. 18.
And even at that, we're still abusing the Facebook provision because anybody is 18.
Yeah. Because
I believe a child can have access to internet, but that child has to be checked and be regulated. I mean, the world has become a global village, and we're training our children. A lot of our children sitting down here will be finding themselves outside Nigeria and exposed to the whole world. So we cannot afford to be the ones that our children will go out there and be lost to some extent.
Madam,
So there are
television
some
is doing
good
that.
things. No, there are some good things about the internet. And so when our children goes out there in the world, they shouldn't be the one that will look like they're coming from darkness, because they may not be able to find their ways sometimes. So let's utilize the benefits of the internet and allow our children engage and guide our children to the ones and against the ones that will be detrimental to them.
In this time and age, yes, I'll let my child have access to gadgets.
What age?
Yes, I'll let my child have access to the internet.
From what age?
But I would stay abreast so I can actually monitor what the child is doing. As early as 5, 6.
Okay.
I'll let him have access to the internet, but I'll stay abreast with tools and technology to monitor what he or she is doing on the internet.
Beautiful.
Daniel is an internet guru. He knows what to do.
Yeah.
Me, I'm a lawyer. It's not my area of specialty.
Oh my
At
goodness.
17, you have access.
Yes.
Before 17, no access.
Well, these are the general opinion. The point here is we are trying to protect the children. And so I want to believe, I mean, not just for us in the studio here, any other person listening would do whatever it takes to ensure that, you know, the exposure your children have to the internet is one that you can stand in the nearest future. Well then, thanks very much for being on the program today. It's been interesting, and many thanks to the callers as well. We'll do this tomorrow, but stay with us. I'll be back at 10 for Probono Chambers.
We are the joy of our nation. We are the unity of our nation. We are the makers of our heritage. We X-ray topical national issues and the trending matters of our time. Examined, dissected, and analyzed. With our team of analysts, you can be sure of an incisive discourse. 9 a.m., Mondays to Fridays. X-Ray on Human Rights Radio, 101.1 FM, Abuja.
Welcome, my dear, dear friends.
Human Rights Radio.
Join our diverse team of legal experts as we provide education and guidance to you, our listeners, on a broad array of issues raised by the modern legal landscape, absolutely free on Pro Bono Chambers, airing on Human Rights Radio, 101.1 FM, redefining broadcasting.
Human Rights Radio.
A wasu shekarun tarihi da yawa can baya, ɗan Adam ya tsinci kansa ne cikin wata irin rayuwa mara tsari. Ka sha wahala ka nemo da gominka wanda ya fi ka damatsu ya tare ka ya amshe. In ka yi gardama ka ci duka. Ka sharɓi kuka irin na cikin zuciya komai zub da ruwa sharaf-sharaf babu inda za ka kai kukan ka share. Tafiya ta tafiya al'umma suka fara kagauta da samarwa kawunan su hukuma don sadaukar da haƙunansu ta kare. To kuwa ashe tunda dai ita kanta gwamnatin da sahalewar mabiya aka samar, ya zama wajibi a samu hanyoyin sako su cikin sha'aninta su san me ke faruwa don nuna gamsuwa ko kuwa jan hankali da kalubalantar bangaren da ya karkace don mahukunta su ƙara saita sahunsu. Zauren 'yan majalisu da 'yan siyasa na gidan rediyon Human Rights wani tanadi ne ga 'yan ƙasa mai matsayin wata ƙofar shiga cikin sha'anin jagoranci dumu-dumu. A dama a kurɓe tare da jama'a ba tare da barin su can gefe ba. Shirin zauren 'yan majalisu da 'yan siyasa na zuwa gare ku ne tun daga Litinin har zuwa Alhamis da misalin karfe 11 na kowace safiya daga gidan rediyon Human Rights mita 101.1.
Human Rights Radio. Your 100% effort is not good enough. You know. Give me 101.1 effort.
When I was a little boy, I couldn't speak. I grew up living the same life. No one to talk to, no one to stand for me. Yeah. My freedom was taken from me. Hey. Only God has been my defender. My defender. Yeah. No man could stand for me. till I met human rights. Radio.
And as always, I'm being joined by our in-house barrister Adana. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Ruth.
Hello. We also have barrister Idris standing in today. Good morning once again.
Good morning, Ruth, and good morning, Nigerians.
All right. Adana is excited too. Like, hey,
because Miss Idris is here.
Oh, okay. So we're all excited then. All right. Thanks to you for joining us on the program today. Interestingly, we're going to talk about something that Adana is very, very happy about. She's excited about the topic. I think I am too. But we don't know about Barrister Idris yet.
No, I am.
Oh,
I
he
think
is.
I'm the most excited person.
All right. So we're going to talk about overloading in public transportation. Overloading. Organo carry overload. I think we used to hear that. All right, so I will always have my idea of certain terms and things, but then I don't always come with it right the way it really is, especially as it concerns the law. So overloading in public transportation, what does that entail? Do I tell you what I think?
What do you think? Tell us. Tell us what you think.
Okay, so you have this normal small car. You could just tell from in the back seats, it has provision for like just 3 people, because there are seat belts. The person in the middle, then the ones on left and right, and then at the front, of course, there's one seat aside that of the driver. So anything more than that is overloading.
That's true.
So,
but then it doesn't only concern just those kind of vehicles that are made for, let's say, 4-seaters. It also affects bigger vehicles like buses. Or wagons, or even planes, or trains.
Yeah,
those are like the kind of vehicles that you could see overloading. Today we'll be talking related to public transports.
Okay.
That is a system of transportation, a means of transportation made available to the public. So all of these that I've mentioned could be made available to the public, even the motorists or the keke, as the case may be.
So and all those carrying along, those going to Maraba, Kubwa, Lube, and all that. Okay.
And then the persons who patronize this kind of transportation are usually students or medium and low income earners. Most times they frequent this transportation, and the issue of overloading is in occurrence on a daily basis. Overloading, on the other hand, is a traffic offense which is committed when a vehicle conveys load or number of persons more than what it's designed to convey or what it's permitted legally to convey. So you could relate with your story or your gist or your own definition of
very well.
Overloading.
Because sometimes how we are. It's clear. Sometimes one can easily say, "Oh, it's not humans now; it is load we are carrying." So you just keep placing them one on top of the other, and at the end of the day, when you're driving or you're on the road, you see some vans or trucks, and it's like one-sided because of too much load that it's carrying.
That's true.
Okay.
But the essence of today's discussion is to focus on the public perception concerning the issues that surround overloading, as it affects the customers who patronize the vehicle owners or the drivers, as well as the operators of public transports. I'm sure Mr. Idris can take it from there.
Okay. When this topic came up, 2 quick issues came to my mind: weigh the load and save the road.
Weigh the load and save the road. Okay.
Yes. That is one. I'll explain that. Then the other one is December we're in December.
Many people will be traveling.
Travel and all of that. Dead men have no right of way. Drive with care.
Wait.
Life is dear.
Can you say? Please, can you say that again?
Say dead men have no right of way. Drive with care, for life is dear. Okay.
Well said.
Let me explain these 2 issues. Some of our roads, particularly if you are traveling from Lokoja down to Abuja, you see some part of the road, particularly the axis of Lokoja to Abuja, the roads are terribly bad. Why is this so? Majority of the trucks that ply that road, carrying iron rods, carrying cement, they are taking weight more than the road can bear. And that is destroying the road.
Wow.
So there's need to weigh the load to us to save
the road. Yeah,
that is one aspect. Then people will tell you, because I'm traveling, it's December, a lot of people are on the road looking for transport. They will take as much as 6 passengers at the back of the seat, 2 in front. For a small car that is meant for 4 persons, the person is carrying about 7, even 8. When you have 2 passengers sitting with the driver, changing gear and all of that becomes a challenge. So it causes a lot of road accidents. That's why I say dead men, they have no right of way. You drive with care, for life is there. So looking at all of this, I think this is the right time to even discuss issue surrounding overloading. You see vehicles, in fact, even the back, like buses, the
is it the roof of the car?
Because
sometimes they put some load on top.
The roof of the car, there are some carriers on top that allow you to put some load on the car.
But what happens when what is inside the bus is already too heavy for it, and then you add again on top of it?
Every car that is manufactured has weight level, the capacity that.
Do our transporters know this?
They're supposed to know that.
Not supposed. They ought to, but I'm not sure they know about it. And again, given our background that poverty and all of that, I want to make quick money and all of that. You see people doing the extraordinary thing to make more money. I was at the park one day, a bus traveling to Lagos, that the back seat that is meant for 4 actually took 4, but they arranged load to the extent it covers the glass at the back, that the driver cannot use his mirror
to see what's coming behind.
That is dangerous.
I think public transport here are poorly maintained, and most of the drivers that drive them are not they don't have adequate training. They don't even, some of them don't even have training at all. Hence this issue he's complaining about, of not having an idea of the capacity a vehicle is to carry at a particular point in time, or the number of persons it should carry to. So this the issue of safety and security as regards public transportation, it's very related to our human lives, so that when these vehicles experience crashes, sometimes the crashes are even minor, but then the combats on the human because of overloading is even in excess. It just more than what is expected.
I was traveling from Lokoja. I had a matter in Lokoja, and I was coming back to Abuja. And this vehicle carried 4 women at the back with about 4 children, a small saloon car, then 2 in front. And the boot of the car was loaded.
So that you
and
could
the
see
driver
it's
was
low.
me and my client that we travel together. I was just cruising at a speed of 100. The guy was moving at speed of not less than 120, 140.
Wow.
With the kind of
With the
persons he carried.
overload, yes.
And as we were just going, after just overtaking my vehicle and trying to go back to the road, I think the back tire just busted. And the car was just, so I had to go to the back and flashing all the oncoming vehicle to stay up the road. But as luck will have it, when it was just parking, the second tire gave in. So 2 tires went off. At the end of the day, I had to give them one of my tires, but I quarried and all of that. So when we are talking about all of this, even I traveled once, I won't mention the airline. I was coming, I got to Lagos. My flight that was supposed to be 9 in the morning, I don't know what happened. I stayed at the airport till around 4. So eventually, when only one flight came in to pick passengers, so those who were supposed to be for morning
to have left earlier,
were asked to move in. So we got in.
I think I have an idea.
So you did attachment.
A lot of people. No, I'm telling you, it was.
Oh my God!
It wasn't funny.
In the air.
I'm not kidding.
It happens on trains too.
So it was something that I witnessed it once, and in fact, I told myself next time, anything like that happens, I'll just leave the airport, go and get a
you know, we
vehicle
would
and
always
travel
feel
by
like
road.
it would be a
Because
bit better if it's on the ground. But I mean, coming to think of
Even
it,
the
like, I mean,
weight,
it's a plane.
flying up there and all of that.
And then you're carrying more than the people you should carry.
And you know, one of the air crashes that occurred once, the plane was overloaded.
Wow.
That people were even bribing to, you know,
To get
I
on
know
board.
somebody who bribed to get ticket into that plane, and he bribed his way to death.
Wow. Wow.
So
that's a
my
serious issue.
my see analogy of dead men have no right of way even in air. Fly with
Honestly.
care. and-
Fly with care, really.
And life is there.
You know, I read somewhere in Vanguard, that as at this year, June, there was a proposal from the commercial of the Federal Road Safety that persons who are found guilty of traffic offenses like overloading, texting while driving should be taken to a psychiatric home and be tested if they are really sane. And
it makes sense.
Yes, and they will have to pay for it.
So they need some
Even
evaluations.
motorists,
Yeah.
yes, they have to pay for it. And if they are found on sin, as in sin,
yeah,
they will bear the consequences. So, you know, this is like one of the, because it's frequently happening, you know, from every fair of the society.
Yeah.
And the essence of this public transportation is to help persons who want to move around easily, especially persons who cannot afford their private vehicles. So, you know, there's already a presumption now that public transport is a dangerous means of transportation. And that's because the issue of overloading does not only affect the part that where there's a crash, persons get to die or lives are lost. It also, you know, goes to the extent of crimes being committed on such vehicles without, like, pickpocketing happens in such kind of vehicles. Or what's it called again? One chance.
Yeah, the one chance. I wanted to talk about
it happens in, you know, those kind of vehicles. So, you know, a lot of crimes and plus the accidents, those are most of the issues that are experienced in overloading, especially in public transportation. So there are rules that have been put in place to curb this issue. But I think there should be more strategic planning done and survey, you know, put in place for persons' perception to be analyzed, and then certain agenda created for restructuring of the issues that concern public transportation, especially overloading.
But what is obtainable right now? Like, what does the law say about this? Because, I mean, they will ask you, did you buy the car for me?
Before just answering that, what the law says about traffic and all of that, I'll let Adana deal with that. It's the issue of when she talked about people going psychiatric evaluation.
Yeah, for some evaluation, yeah.
I live in Cairo Axis, and there's a roundabout. There are some persons who would deliberately just bypass the roundabout and drive straight on the road. And I'm kind of, what is wrong with us? And it has become a trend that is some of them, if they don't break a rule one day, they are not comfortable. So it's like a norm for them now to break traffic rule, and then they will feel, yes, I've done something today.
Wow.
So no. You might think is something that
because as far as they're concerned, there's no reason for them to do that, yet they do it.
No, there's no reason. There's no reason.
There's no traffic, no hold-ups.
Absolutely no reason.
So what's
you can see sometimes now somebody driving one way when there's no traffic, nothing, for him to just go and turn around and.
And that's also because they know there are no security agents around to give them tickets. I don't know. We spoke about. I know we don't have to have the law following us all the time, but sometimes again it's as if it works a bit faster or better when you know that there are eyes watching over you. If they knew that, or they know that there are, you know, the security
cameras
agents
and all of that,
or cameras, and that you'll be fished out wherever you are. I don't think people
Rude,
they'll regain their sanity.
I don't want us to digress from our own problem. It's more complex than complex.
We can simplify it.
Regardless of how can it be simplified?
Do you know the commonest of all of this? Let me ask you: how many houses are numbered in Abuja? How many streets do you know in Abuja that are real names of street?
But
can you go to
have a lot
place
of
like
problems. We'll take them one after the other.
And tell me the name of a street inside Karimo, and the houses are numbered?
We will take our issues one after the other.
No, I'm just telling you the one of the very simple.
I understand.
So how do you track if somebody break offense, traffic rule? How do you get the person apprehended? when even these days and time, you have people who can manufacture driver's license, and some people drive without driving, going
Permits.
through driving permit and getting a license. So all of these are problem. Somebody can just wake up in there, prayed, got a contract, had money, you just go and buy a car. You see, you put learner for 1 day. Second day, he's on his own and he's driving on the road. So we have, that's why I say our own side, this part of the world, is more complex than complex. I don't know how to deal with some of our challenges.
That's why our topic today is focusing on not just the customers, patronizing public transport, but on the operators. I think if Federal Road Safety Corps should pinpoint on these issues and make sure that they carry out evaluations on operators of public transports to ensure, just the way they are doing for these speed trackers.
Sorry, let me help you out.
What's that?
If we want to, we need to organize our transport system. Let them have cooperatives.
Exactly.
When they have cooperatives,
they need to be regulated.
Every car that is on the road, that is commercially owned, should be in one cooperative or the other. Let's say, for instance, somewhere around Jukwe, they have their own. Somewhere around Karo, Airport Road, Lugbe, later, all of them, they form their own small cooperative. And this
how is that going to? I mean, I see them sometimes receiving tickets along the road.
No, the road.
I don't know what that.
The Federal Road Safety Corps can work with National Union of Road Transport Workers to actualize this. It's something that will take a long time, but it's something that is doable, so that these persons, even among themselves, you will even help them more, because as a cooperative, they can be making small, contribution for them to assist each other, to even own. Those who don't have their own cars can, borrow from such a cooperative. But it's one way of, checkmating what we can do and how best we can, do some of these things. If some of us who travel, you see yellow lane, like what is happening in Lagos. Those yellow lane, I have never seen a car drove through those yellow lane for like 20 meters.
Okay.
Because the moment you do that, the rest assured you will get ticket. And
pay
the
a
only
fine.
vehicle that apply those yellow lanes are buses and trucks. And is well respected and obeyed.
So why can't we replicate it in other
No, we
states?
have yellow lanes in Abuja here.
Okay.
If you look at our road from, you are going towards Maraba axis now, you see yellow lanes everywhere. But the yellow lanes are just
Are they abiding by the rules?
Who knows what they meant?
So were they informed?
Sensitization.
Okay,
they need to be sensitized. Okay, yeah. The law frowns at overloading.
Okay, the law frowns at it. We want to know more, but we have to go on a commercial break.
All right,
so when we come back, we hear more.
Human Rights Radio.
Kedu ife ịchọ? Ọ bụ ife eji esi nri? Ọ bụ akwa na akpụkpọ ụkwụ? Ka ọ bụ akpa ụmụ gị ji eje akwụkwọ na ife iji achọ mma? Gbalụbịa Halibis Mall, isi ụlọ ngwaahịa anyị dị na +660 Cadastral Zone B.
Yes, we're back on Probono Chambers, right here on Human Rights Radio. And today we are looking at overloading in public transportation. And before we went on that break, Adana was about to tell us what the law says about it. The law frowns at it. So what provision is there? Are they going to be arrested? And I mean, those who break the law.
Sorry, let me answer. I want to answer that a question quickly. I lost my dad sometimes back, and when I was called, it was very early in the morning, and you know, as Muslim, he was to be buried that day. So I left Abuja and I was going on the speed of about 120, 140, so as to catch up, you know. Very close to my place, road safety stopped me, and the guy said, I think that time they had this speed limit gadget. The guy just stopped me and said, you've been overspeeding. I said, yes, officer. Yes, I have. I'm sorry. I lost my dad. I'm just going for... He said, yes, you lost your dad. And you
Doesn't
are
mean
going
you
at
break
this
the
this
law.
speed. Supposing something happened, you lose your life again. What? So it doesn't really make sense. We are sorry about that, but that will not stop us from booking you. I was booked. I think I can't remember whether it was 5,000 naira or I can't remember how much I paid, but I had to pay through the bank and all of that. Before then, my driver's license was taken and they gave me a covering note that to cover like... So I think we need to go back there and see, review that
law.
You know what? One
see
may
how
think at
effective
that
it
point
is.
perhaps they're being insensitive.
Yeah.
However, it's the truth. If you are over speeding and something happens to you again, I mean, it's going to be double tragedy.
But
Yeah,
I think
it's
the
true.
fine is quite too small, you know.
No.
Oh, the
No,
fine is small.
it's not small. You know, the procedure that I went through to pay the fine was the most horrifying thing for me.
Time consuming.
I had to go to the bank to pay, came back to their office, and I was made to undergo some series of lecture and all of that. At the end of the day, they made me buy one of their traffic law
Guide.
book and all of that. And it's like I spent a whole day doing that. I had to travel from Abuja again back home.
Before embarking on the journey again.
No, before I could clear that.
Oh,
So the
wow.
process and the time and all of that, even if now I can't go beyond 100. If I want to leave, I leave early, I get to my destination early. I think we are getting there on the other side, so we are more careful now.
Okay, yeah, the Federal Road Safety Corps Establishment Act of 2007 makes provisions for traffic law or traffic offenses, and then the sanctions available. Most of the sanctions are actually fine of about 10, 2,000, 5,000, depending on which of the offenses you committed. Now, for the offense of overloading, the fine there is 10,000 naira. However, there's also mobile courts put in place by the Federal Road Safety Corps for persons who are caught committing traffic offenses that deals with overloading and any other traffic offenses, so that they undergo the mobile courts and if they are found guilty, then they can pay this fine.
So this 10,000 naira fine, is it both for trucks carrying load and humans, or for which of?
Just for overloading. So
Okay,
I'm sure
so
it
whatever
encompasses
it
all
is.
vehicles. Yes,
Whether it's
that's why I
humans-
said, yeah, I think they need to be reviewed because why 10,000? Of course, I understand what you went through, but
Okay,
why
so yeah, you feel
10,000 naira for
10,000
such
is just-
sensitive
okay.
issue that concerns human lives? Why?
Just like I will complain about the one driving under the influence.
10,000 naira is a lot of money. Let's not take it.
No, the public transporter, I'm sure he would definitely agree with that. He can't afford to imagine himself, parting ways with 10,000 naira. But then lately, I have been noticing that many of them are back, to this overloading situation.
No, you see, my main concern is not just about the overloading, the safety of persons they are carrying.
Exactly.
The people sitting are not even comfortable to start
Exactly.
with. They are not comfortable. And so sometimes it's within town. Sometimes what about those who travel from one state to the other? And
Exactly.
they still go through, that whole process of, it's not like they're not paying. They pay maybe the same amount.
December
But
is approaching. Just maybe by 23rd, 24th, go to any of the parks. just along the road, you see.
So something really should be done. The
Overloading.
roads are bad, yes, but then these are other factors that contribute to many
loss of
losses that
lives.
we.
I think for us to, if we want to really make transport much more effective, light rail is the way to go. Because if we have a light rail, for instance, from Abuja to Lokoja down to Okene down to Auchi to Benin to Warri and Port Harcourt and all of that, people will leave their cars. Then from here, you say you are going to Kaduna to Zaria to Kano and.
But while we're waiting for that, what do we do with what is available?
I think road safety, they have a lot of work to do, sensitization, and some of this should be in line with the road. National Union of Road Transport Workers. There's need for them to work together hand in hand. We're in December.
That's true.
Anybody who tells you that the devil is on the road, the person's lying. It's not true. Devil has nothing. We are the one playing the devil's advocate here. So
the devil is not out there.
No. It's not part of.
I kind of like that, really.
No, it's true.
Yeah, because even for criminals, they tell you it's the devil.
One of the most worrisome thing now is about 90% of tires we see as new tires
are worn out,
refurbished and all of that. So it's a dangerous trend. If you have, you think you have good tires and you are going 150, 180, for God's sake, where are you going to? If you want to get to your destination, please leave early. If you leave early, you go at a speed of 100 kilometers per hour. In 4 hours, 5 hours, you get to your destination. And if you are driving, you are tired, please enter a village station, fuel station, take time out. If you want to sleep, you can sleep for like 10-15 minutes before you hit the road again.
True.
Very importantly, no alcohol. I think we have discussed drunk driving.
Yes.
Some of my friends said, no, why are they saying drunk? It's drink driving. I said, don't you drink water? Does water get you drunk? So it's drunk driving. So let's, and I think we are on the right track.
Okay. So I'd like us to perhaps get responses from our callers, even through text messages, so that we can get the public perception of overloading on public transport.
All right, so it's about time for you to call in and let's hear what you think. I mean, if you have it to this point with those public transporters who like to put 2 people in front, 4 or sometimes even 6 people, at the back seat and all that, what do you think about it, and what contribution generally do you have in this regard? Call the number 081 8999 1011. It's Probono Chambers on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, and today we're looking at overloading in public transportation. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning. Welcome. What's your name?
Yeah, good morning. My name is Walter.
Okay, Walter, go ahead.
Yeah, I happen to be in the transport sector.
Okay.
Yeah, about this overloading of the team is those transporters on the road that actually carry 2 in the front, 4 at the back, 6 people. Sometimes if you go to the interior, they will carry 3 in the front plus the driver making 4.
Wow.
And yes, I saw it myself.
Okay, it's like
and some of this road safety, they will see them and throw away their eyes. Frankly speaking, the road safety, some of them, they will just throw away their eyes and they pass like that. And you, the innocent one, when you are passing, you'll be the one they stop. So the work has to be with the road safety first.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your contribution.
That's very true. I think, let me say this. When I was growing up, there's something that we used to see on pickup vans. Driver and 2 persons.
2 persons.
Yes.
I think I used to see that too.
It's inscripted on the body of the vehicle.
But it's like, it's a pickup. It's
pickup.
Not
like we have the Hilux van now, and all, they are just the same.
So if you look at the space, it's more than 1 seat for
more
an
than
individual.
1 seat for at least 3 persons can sit on it, but you just see inscripted driver and 2 persons.
I think I've seen
that was something that was really key, and people obeyed that law. Whether we need to be doing inscription on our vehicles, like the back seat, you just say
3 persons.
3 persons only.
Because it really is painful when you
very
see
good.
how they squeeze people, especially those sitting in the front. You know, you see just one.
We are this part of the world is a peculiar. We are peculiar kind of
The
person.
developing country
So
now.
forget about developing. We are
serious.
You know, I don't want to go into religious aspect. You know,
Okay.
Cain and Abel, the
Well,
descendant of Cain. I think they're in this part of the world that they don't.
Let's listen to this person. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the program. What's your name?
My name is Titus. I'm calling from Wuse.
All right, Titus, go ahead.
This issue of overloading. I don't know whether the government vehicles are supposed to be overloaded.
You don't know what? Whether government vehicles...
I don't know whether these government vehicles are they supposed to be overloaded, because all these urban masses...
Are they overloaded?
They don't arrest them for overloading.
Okay.
They can load. Even people standing, they will even pass people on seat. And also it doesn't arrest them. Then these people that they just add one person. Those have to arrest them to pay fine. 10,000. Is it right?
Okay. Thank you for your call.
So the answer to that question is that it's not right. There's no car that is permitted to carry overloads.
But when you see one, you know, doing it with impunity, so to speak, it's as if it's been given that right.
Yes. I think a lot of cars, over
he said
90 cars out of 100 on the road does overloading.
Those standing are even more than the ones sitting.
Definitely, it happens.
So it's a two-way thing now. The transporters are doing it. The people are allowing themselves to be
Part
put
of
together
it.
like, you know, that kind of, they call it...
When you don't have options, Ruth, what do you do, honestly speaking?
I begin to walk gradually using my legs.
Anyway, somebody has
small.
trekked from Lagos to Abuja, so
it's possible.
It's possible.
No, like seriously.
But not under the circumstance.
But you know, to a large extent, we encourage so many
but
things
then, you know,
ourselves.
what is made to become a law, you know, becomes our lifestyle. So if this issue is put in as a law to curb the issue of overloading, persons will be more patient and make it their lifestyle to wait for the next
because
car instead of
you know that
going to be part of overloading.
To stand and say, oh no, I've been standing for so long.
If you permit Nigerians, some of them will sit down in the booths.
True. Maybe if the fine should extend to the person who has, you know, climbed on that bus as well. If you know that you're also going to be fined, so that if the bus driver says, okay, hop in, and then you enter, you know that when it's stopped, you're also going to depart, you know, with some money.
Okay, I want to give you a scenario. At the park, the loading is usually very okay, except for the passengers. Usually okay, except for their loads. That's whatever they are carrying, their properties and all of that. That one is on one side. When you leave the park, like on the 23rd, 22nd, 23rd, 24th December, stay along any park you know in major cities. When you see the number of persons on the road that want to travel, you know that they don't have option than to say whatever means that can take me home, let me take it. We have a lot of things to do. Let us, you know,
provide
what is needful.
That's true.
Like good transport system.
Yeah.
The railway, yes, it's fantastic. The government can provide a lot of buses.
Yeah.
Interstate buses. When I was growing up, the late Samuel Ogbonwodia, one time governor of Bender State, provided a Midwest transport services, and that's where this interstate stuff actually began. So
this can help, especially with focus to the fact that we know that people travel more in this time of.
But again, one of the problem is the number of vehicles you will buy. Again, might not be useful after the Yuletide period and all of that. Then that is where you need to be strategic. People who want to travel, they have to plan their trip so that even in UK, advanced country, people sleep in airport this time of the year because they will miss their flight or their flight is overbooked and all of that. So it's a challenge everywhere. But
well, the overloading thing is both for the Yuletide and also for normal times. Because okay, let's see who's here. Hello.
Hello, good evening. Good morning.
Morning to you. Welcome.
Yeah, this is Mohammed Aido from the Malabar Motor Park.
Okay, we're listening.
Yeah, so the issue of overloading. Yeah, no any overloading from the park. This is what we bring. But you go to another step. Believe me, can you imagine? You will not know who is the driver. Because you see like people in the front. You're surprised who is driving. So I don't know what is the needful of the road safety in that other step. But only in Abuja, road safety want to kill you if you take to. I don't think. I believe maybe it's only in Abuja the federal capital. Here we have the road safety, but other states they don't have the road safety because you will surprise if you go to state, even though in the driving, in the resting, in any time.
Sorry, we lost that call there, but you can call back or someone else may be able to find their way through. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Probono Chambers. What's your name?
Oh, my name is Emmanuel Oga. I'm calling from Calabar.
Okay, Emmanuel, we're with you.
Yes, I missed the program last Thursday, so I was traveling. I was not able to get to people. So, I don't know what is the program, since the radio station cannot reach here today. But what I had wanted to contribute, if I would be allowed, on the next, the last program, last week Thursday, where the barrister says most of the litigants are, when they are aware that the matter or they have will not be favorable to them, they still go to court. I have discovered that one of myself, I'm even a victim. It is a counsel. I will not even advise you that this matter, if you go to court, it will not even take out to 2 weeks. As I'm talking to you, a matter I took to court, which would have been placed under undefended list, like they said, since 2013 till today, the case has not been quashed. The hearing just commenced just last year, right from 2013. And most of the times, some debtors are indebted to you. You go to there and maybe they are richer than you, influential in the society. When you get to them, they start using abusive ways. And sometimes you'll be compelled, because since judiciary is the last hope of a common man, you'll be compelled to go to court to challenge them. Now in this case, I secure a job in Benue State. But when I call a company from Enugu to go and now handle the job on my behalf, since I was not having the cash to execute the financial muscle to execute the job, we executed the job. Actually, it was paid since 2012. Okay, let me get my own part of it. The son of that very big man, and I don't want to mention his name in the radio, he is dead now. The boy was telling me that do I know the difference between Opako and Adebo children. So sometimes it's just because we are praised, we are grieved that we challenge matter in court. It's not because we actually want to. And justice delay is justice denied.
All right.
So that is a
okay, thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
for calling. Thank you for contributing. Yeah.
All right.
I was not in the studio on Thursday, but what he's saying is I'm a lawyer, and no lawyer only few lawyers will tell you that you don't have a chance with this case.
Exactly.
Only few. I'm very honest about it. Because we always think that we can wriggle out from
out of the situations.
I don't want to mention names. I've read some cases up to the Supreme Court where the Supreme Court, made pronouncement about XYZ, issue. The same lawyer who was, who had that judgment went back to the Supreme Court and trying to, overturn that same decision again. So it's neither here nor there. If a lawyer may have, it depends on where the technicalities you think you can use to achieve whatever you want to achieve. But again, it is important for us as much as possible to tell the client what you think it is.
And advise.
And advise accordingly. These days, even litigation, a lot of people are shying away from it. We're either going into mediation and all of that. So arbitration, mediation, because that takes less time and you make even more money than going through the process of litigation.
Exactly. Well, I was advising on the what you need to know before you commence an action in court. That's where I mentioned that point. And like Mr. Idris said, or Barrister Idris said, he had just made the point. We don't usually tell you to back out of your case, but we can advise you and tell you this is the strength and or the weakness of your case. And then if you know that
you want to pursue it,
or even know that your case is weak and yet you want to pursue it due to certain circumstances you feel surround the situation and you want us to proceed with it, why not? We'll have to proceed with it because that is what you want. Even when we advise you, you're our clients and we need to do everything possible in your best interest. So even if we advise you and you still want to pursue the case, why not? We'll have to go with it.
Since you've been hired.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see if we can squeeze in one final call before we wrap things up on the program. 081-8999-1011. It's Probono Chambers, and you get to call in and ask questions on any topic at all, really. But if you want to contribute to what we've been talking about, feel free to do that as well. Hello?
Hello, good morning, Ma.
Morning to you. Welcome to the program. What's your name?
My name is Isaac Kanoja from Newcastle.
Okay, go ahead. But you need to turn off your radio.
Concerning the transport system.
Okay.
Please, I want to advise that the piano in the park. They should do something about those people selling alcohol in park. If possible, to set a task force that will be going to park. Okay. So that they will stop everybody that will sell alcohol in the park. Thank you.
Thank you very much. When we talk about driving under the influence and then you have a beer parlor at the garage, like seriously?
You see, when he was saying it, I just smiled. Something came to my head.
Wow.
We have a situation, somebody will buy kettle, just open one beer and pour inside the kettle and, we just sit down there and be sipping. You think he's drinking water. So they have a way of dealing with whatever.
I mean, I know they
That's
can even
true.
get it from wherever before they get there. But then at least let's not make it easy for them. Yeah,
yes, let the first step be taken, and then these shops or beer parlors
There's
closed.
a small sachet of
all kinds
that you see around the parks and all of that.
I think the selling there should be curbed, so that the transport drivers, the transport owners won't have access to it so easily.
Another thing, when it comes to alcohol, people will just, for some people, it's something of bragging, right? And some will say, no, I've been taking this, I take this, and you won't even know I have. But then I think it's really serious. You're taking the lives of so many people along with yours to God knows where, for how long, and so many things can just go wrong on the road. Okay, so final thoughts on this entire issue of overloading in public transportation. What advice, what suggestions, especially as you talked about reviewing the 10,000 naira fine?
Yes, and all of the fines that concern road traffic offences. And I'll align myself with what Barrister Idris said earlier, that we should weigh the load to save
the road. Very important.
Yeah, it's very, very important. That also means like the rules and regulations that concern traffic laws should be upheld, and persons should be aware that these rules are in place and enforceable. So all Nigerians, including us here in the studio and everybody listening to us, should weigh the load so that you can save the road.
But then again, does that mean we can also upgrade the road? I mean, when constructing them, because we know we have to move some of these things. Or are we just going to focus on reducing the quantity of whatever you carry? So that if it means you carry 5 rods instead of 10 because of the road, you carry 5?
No, every car or vehicle, you have capacity of load you can carry. That
so
is
they should
one.
just abide by that.
Abide by that. Secondly, the road texture, again, can withstand amount of weight. That is why you have to weigh the load to save that road. My final thought is the same way I started. Dead men have no right of way. Drive with care, for life is dear.
Okay, so we are all aligning ourselves with what he has just said. I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense. But thank you so very much for being on the program today, Barrister Idris and Barrister Adana.
Thank you.
It's been interesting.
You.
We hope you can always find your way in here.
Sincerely.
As always, Barrister Idris. Yeah,
Thank you for coming by.
This is my home.
All right, and many thanks our listeners and callers for being a part of the show today. I'll be leaving you now until tomorrow, but in the meantime, stay right here with us on Human Rights Radio. Infomercial is up next, and the lady Sharifat is looking at me, giving me a really nice look from the other side, but she will be here, and many more of our program is coming your way. Enjoy the rest of your day.